So now you've just witnessed DJ Switch, 3-time DMC Battle for Supremacy champion action. My name's Cutmaster Swift. Introduce yourself. Mr. Switch, I believe now, isn't it?
Mr. Switch, it'll soon be, yeah.
So Switch, let's talk about why we're here. We're obviously demoing this fantastic equipment by Stanton. Just talking about, you use quite a lot of equipment. We see you loads of times using this stuff. Just give us tips on why the DJ can't blame the equipment and when it comes down to the DJ. Just give us tips how you get around working with new stuff. Because you know, have quite an open mind for stuff like that. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I do a lot of demos for a lot of different products, and it's very interesting to see the way different technologies develop. I mean, the thing that's been nice about these today is just jumping on them and just kind of, easy, very comfortable and instant. It's a tricky one because there is so much choice out there. Because I imagine when you started and sort of when I started,
bricks and stones we were using, mate.
Wood and turntable. Yeah. Because when you started out, you just had to use vinyl. There was no other option. You had to learn your craft at halfway. But now you can use laptops, you can use CDJs and controllers and press sync, and the magic happens within these crazy
So
systems.
as a kind of number one tip is familiarity with equipment, pretty much, yeah?
Definitely. Well, it's also kind of whatever kit you have, make the best of it, really. That's the best advice you can have.
Now I want you to break down the techniques you're doing in what you're in your routines, because there's so much going on, and just give us an idea how you come to the conclusion of that arrangement and where to take it from there. Just simple things so DJs know what to look for when they're putting their routines together. So away you go.
Well, this is this track, High Ground, which most people will know. I mean, I kind of chose to do that routine because people knew the track, and I was kind of looking to see if anyone else had done a routine. No one else had, so I thought, I'll have a play around with it. So I was listening to the track for a while, and you have this intro break. And then it gets to the second part where you hear just a little double up. So there where you have twice as many sounds going.
So that's the double up there.
Yeah. So with that you can just kind of loop that and start playing around with it. So you can end up kind of doing twice as many sounds.
So pretty much you're doing two things there. You're back cueing, and then you're doubling the fader between the two sounds. It's
essentially getting the offset, so you double up the same sounds.
Building your routines, is there a particular thing you build up to, or give us an idea how you plan your arrangements?
Well, my main trick with the routines is to have good intros and outros, and they kind of lead the routine. So like my sub-focus one, playing around with the track, because it's kind of got this 3/4 kind of lilt to it. It ended up that I could kind of change it to 4/4 and kind of give it a bit more of a change up. So you have this part of the break, and so just playing around with that. So going from ba 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 ja ba ba, and you just put a little baby scratch on the one. You change from 3/4 to 4/4.
Yes.
And then okay, so I've got that, so I could go from that into the drum and bass remix of the track. So
is it very difficult to change the timings like that when you have to work into it because of the way you're working?
Yeah,
in terms of arrangement and timing, and then.
Well, the way I come out of the routine. So you start with the original tempo track. So that kind of house speed.
Yeah.
Then it goes into the routine where it gets that half-time drum and bass.
Yeah.
And then, with digital technology, what I do is I then put a loop on, and I've set the loop to the drum and bass speed.
Okay.
So the track's playing it's a house track, but then it goes into. So I can leave that playing, and in the meantime, just load up the drum and bass version, and you get that.
Yeah.
So that's
It brings it back up to the tempo. Yeah. So go on. Let's go through some of these techniques. So that's the chirp you're doing there, and we're obviously mixing it up with a few things.
Yeah, so chirp. And for like a track like this, like the swing player is kind of a favourite one, like DJ Shifty.
can hear the difference between still chirp again. Yeah, and the swing. Would you say it's more on the back or the front?
It's more of a push on the front.
Okay.
I'd say. I mean, I naturally tend to put a stab in there, but yeah, kind of getting the different varieties.
This mixer has the curve function, so you can alter the sharpness.
Yes.
And the, like I said, curve and the fader. Where do you tend to put yours on your mixers?
I actually learned scratching initially by going into hamster mode, and that kind of got me able to do clicks and things. I think it's a subtlety of hand strength, of whether it's your thumb bouncing off the fader or your fingers, so you kind of get any of those. I tend to kind of position normally, and you kind of have a kind of nice gradual fade.
So you pretty much got the crossfader here on sharp.
Yeah, and the up fader's kind of on a not slow. Yeah, I tend to try and get as straight a line as possible, so you kind of know you're going that smooth gradient. But it's also nice that you can you have that adjustability as well.
And again, going through your mixer, we noticed you was leaning over and touching this button here.
Yeah.
Which most mixers don't really have. Just explain what's really capable about that feature.
Well, it's a nice little thing to play around with, because you can kind of, if you want to get a nice finish to your to whatever you're doing, you can kind of get an instant boom or a boom, so you can go from trying to get a sample to do it on. So if that's a sample, so I can just go.
And that's the break feature we're playing with here.
So I can shorten that to just an instant stop.
Wow. Yeah.
And get a nice get a nice bounce in it. Or get the really long drawn out.
Power down.
Yeah. And also, there's a nice thing I learned with scratching actually, where you kind of do. Let's see if it works. So you kind of do. You let the record. You let the turntable slow up and start underneath you.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's a nice little thing to play around with.
And again, you do those lasers where you have the fader over and you're doing it in one hand. The deck's powered off or down? The deck's powered on actually.
Yeah. They kind of. I like doing scratches with the record off, because that means you have full control. And it doesn't tend to make much difference with the laser, I find, because the turntable's not got instant push back underneath.
Is that an importance down to the slip mat as well, or it doesn't?
It is to a large extent, yeah. It has.
I don't see you with them butter run things.
No, I've got the Q-Bert. What are the new ones? Yeah, they're new Thud Rumble ones. Right. They're not called Burrows, but I can't remember which one they are.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they're Q-Bert.
And how good are they for juggling?
Well, that's it, they're great for
everyone
scratching.
You'll learn about that one. Going for the pitch control, we've got the standard 8%, 25%, and 50%. Can we think of any reason why we're going to need 50%?
Do you know what? I've tried going in 78s. That's a mission.
Okay. That's when you press these two buttons together, actually, and you get that.
Oh, is it that one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you get that as well. It's built into the deck. 78 is an old time thing. We used to play these 10 inches and big old turntables, 78 speed, so it's a much better.
Well, I kind of like it for the chipmunk effects.
Yeah. There you go. Don't sample this.
I don't think, it could be good to use that live actually, just play 78 sets.
Yeah, when you do the kids' party, that's a fantastic feature, right?
Because you can even go, mix your dad's 78s at the club with that, and
it's a record boy.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, it's like where cars can go up to 200 mph. It's really nice to have that as a bonus feature.
Yes.
Because it has that capability to it. And if you do find a reason for using it, like you want a chipmunk or something, or because you can minus 50 as well, so you can get like proper kind of slow.
Wow. I think you get the pitch lock on it as well.
So that resets to 0.
You've been watching DJ Switch demoing the Stanton ST 150 turntables and Stanton M207 Mixer. Check out their stuff on their website.